Hello and welcome to IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live and interactive news conversation web TV. I'm Prachi Jatania. And as the standoff continues between the DU and the UGC about the 4-year undergraduate course, admission process to several Delhi colleges has been delayed. The future of many students is in jeopardy. To give us more perspective and what really are the next steps ahead and what lies ahead for many of these students is to take this conversation forward. We have in the studio here Dr. C.P. Singh. He is a professor at Indraprasth University and also we have Rudra Ashish Chakravarti. He is assistant professor, Department of English from Kirodimal College. We'll also have some very interesting guests joining us online via Google Hangout and Skype and several students who can ask questions to our panelists here in the studio. Please go ahead. The future of many students and their careers are definitely, hangs in balance. There is no kind of conclusion coming to this standoff, and a hunger strike also has been, is also underway as we speak. I'll come to you, Dr. C.P. Singh. What has been, what has been the main contention between the UGC and the DU about not taking this course, not taking the 4-year course ahead?
You see, the UGC, if the manner in which it has intervened today or during the last few weeks is in response to the new government. It should have done it maybe 1 year back. The whole process started in 2012 itself. In 2013-14, the new system allowed admissions under that 4-year undergraduate program. It has done it now. It simply means that there is more to it than appears to the eyes.
Right.
You slip over an issue for more than 1 year, then all of a sudden you shoot a letter, then start working on a Sunday in a government organization, unheard of usually. So such things, so that there is much more to it, and this much more is less in the nature of academics and more in the nature of politics.
Yeah.
Fine, we are all political animals and good to be political animals, and we should participate, debate and do things in a manner the politics mandates as per regulations. That is one aspect. They have been pressurized by the government to take a decision in certain ways. I am told BJP in its manifesto had promised that if they come to power, they will get this 4-year undergraduate program scrapped. It makes one laugh.
Right. I'll just bring in Mr. Rudra Ashish. What is your stand on the 4-year undergraduate course? Are you for it or against it? Do you feel it will benefit students in the long run?
Well, unlike various other organizations and agencies who have been doing a flip-flop on the matter, we have been consistent in our opposition to the 4-year undergraduate program, both on academic grounds, logistical grounds, on matters related to infrastructure, finances, and because right from the beginning our position has been this course is unwieldy in its present form, and more importantly it's clearly in violation of the national education policy of 10+2+3. Look, while I agree with what Professor Singh says that the UGC has been sleeping over it and they have woken up, and it's very clearly what they have done, both the Delhi University authorities and the UGC currently, they are trying to portray it as a slugfest. But the fact of the matter is, it's a discredited course. It's a discredited course right from the beginning. And you will see, and in fact, Professor Singh's institution has been immensely benefited by this course because their BCom Honours program suddenly shot up in terms of popularity, and their, because they are providing an honours degree in 3 years.
I just wanted to
just let me complete, sir.
We launched our program only last year.
They launched it last year precisely because the university shifted. First and foremost, the honours course got diluted and it was extended to 4 years. And why the universities, this particular 4-year program became a non-starter. Any shift from a 3 to 4-year program, even for a moment I become a devil's advocate and say, okay, fine, 4-year program is something which we can think about, quote unquote, attuning it to global standards. The question is, what sort of global standards? Are we talking of only the American, Canadian and the Australian universities? And if that is the case, you can only compete with them if you give some value addition, one more year of value addition. If students are, the erstwhile 3-year program, it has been one of the most creditable, reputed program across the globe, and all this while the university's best minds are being produced in that program. That does not mean you don't review it, that does not mean you don't reform it.
Right.
But what is the mode of reform? You have to provide supplement, you have to increase the strength, you have to provide what is on offer. If you just take a look at that program, you will see in the first year, the students are made to do 6 courses per semester, out of which 4 are foundation courses. Total 12 foundation courses the students have to do in 4 years,
4 years.
which are at class 8th level. It's not only an academic disgrace. No self-respecting university can possibly tolerate this sort of academic disgrace. Second important thing, what it does not, any academic program is also customized according to a student's need. There are students who leave some subjects in class 9
Right.
and definitely in class 11th. You are made to do compulsory subjects which you have left 2 years ago or 4 years ago. Is it fair to students? It's a most student unfriendly. You talk to any, why do you think so many students are on the streets against the program?
Right.
Why even NSUI, which had been supporting this program last year, why it took a volte-face and now it is trying to hog the limelight in terms of opposing the program.
Mr. Chakravarti, we'll get you to elaborate a little more on that very valid point that Mr. Chakravarti is raising. But what really led to this entire slugfest and what really can be done about it? We'll find out and give you some details in this video clip. Take a look.
The recent decision of UGC to scrap the 4-year undergraduate program and DU's adamant stand to continue the program left students in a fix. Whether they are going to enter a 3-year program or a 4-year program has been a question in every student's mind. That did delay the admission process as was expected. Protesters claim that it is a result of lack of preparedness of the Ministry of HRD, which has put the future of students on hold. Is the government in too much of a hurry to push its agenda?
So like we are saying, I think Dr. Singh raised an important point. Is this, because UGC has never interfered with the DU's decisions or policy matters before. What really has prompted it? Is it the government's push?
2 things. First and foremost, just a clarification. There's a Supreme Court judgment which says that while the university, and this judgment, it has not come once, it has come twice. First in 1994, when the University of Delhi lost 2 court cases, one in High Court and in the Supreme Court, on the issue of essential qualifications of teachers, when university refused to accept the UGC mandate on NET as a qualification, desirable, as an essential qualification. So that is already a precedent. While this whole talk of academic autonomy, and academic autonomy is absolutely precious for any educational institutions, nobody disputes that, and I am the last person who would possibly advocate any encroachment on autonomy. But the fact of the matter is, there has to be a level playing field. UGC ultimately is a statutory body which has to cater to the process of harmonization between different universities. By this 4-year program, Delhi University cannot take a standalone decision because it involves not stakeholders who come from all parts of the country, notably students. Students coming from other universities, will they get credit? Say, for example, somebody who has done a 3-year honors course somewhere, how that person would get admission in MA, and somebody who is getting a 4-year honors course in Delhi, the student who is studying in Delhi is already at a disadvantage, getting the same degree of same weightage, stature that is honors, and a diluted course in 4 years. So what you are doing in 4 years is less what we have been doing in 3 years. So in every sense, students have been opposing it. Next important point, whether it's a political, whether it's a political slugfest.
Another 10 seconds.
In the political slugfest, the earlier decision was a political decision in 2013. It was steamrolled, bulldozed, without taking cognizance of the material situation in colleges, infrastructural situation. University did not take any financial commitment from the UGC. 33% students will increase in the 4th year. Who will finance that? Who will prepare that infrastructure? You go to colleges at the moment, more than 50% teachers are ad hoc. They are not being made permanent, and not because there is any ban, because this particular administration of the university sat on the teachers recruitment process for the last 4 years. The day this vice chancellor took over, after that no appointment happened till say recently,
Right.
2-3 months
Right.
ago.
Let's get Dr. Singh to
See,
respond.
like, whenever you make certain changes, there is always hue and cry, because the people in this case who were teaching as per the old syllabi and norms, they are now ensconced. They are now very happy with that. They don't have to put in extra effort. Since you are making changes now, they will have to work hard for it. And there are 3 elements to it which we have already adopted in our system, and we are going to improvise on that. You have to engage yourself in group discussions.
Yes.
You have to introduce research at the UG level. You have to also take care of the needs of each and every student. In Delhi University, when I was a student, I recall a few months and years, there used to be a strike which was very common. Most of the time on the issue of a strike, there was total unanimity between the teachers across the political spectrum. सारी पार्टी के लोग साथ होते थे उसमें, and the students used to suffer a lot. Delhi University has become such a university where teachers are known to withdraw their salaries, not going to the institution for 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, or almost a year. It is this logic where you are demanded to be physically present, possibly has united people across the spectrum. I will go back to 35-40 years, where for the first time in this country, the +3 system was introduced. And Delhi University, being a pioneer in introducing that +3 system in 70s, had also come up with a system for the students of other universities that was known as bridge program. For example, if a student from Patna University or Lucknow University or Kolkata University, which had not implemented this 10+2+3 program, would like to join masters in Delhi University, they will be studying 1 more year. That is bridge course. Very aptly named, it was bridge course. This 4 year has become important. And most of the teachers, even if who are very honest as far as their own teaching learning is concerned, are possibly ignoring this fact that the students have all that what you have been telling them in the classroom at their palm top, on their mobile.
Right. Let's not digress from the topic, but I feel that, do you think then, because it was the brainchild of the previous HRD Minister Kapil Sibal and Dinesh Singh, that is that why this
let me tell you one thing which is connected to this. The same teachers and most of the students were also opposing the semester system, which Deepak Pantel wanted to do, the earlier Vice Chancellor. So semester system gives you less time of squatting.
Right.
It demands from you that you should be working hard.
Dedicatedly.
Every 6 months you have to deliver the result.
Correct.
In the annual system, they were
relaxed.
totally relaxed.
I would like to
Right,
respond to that. I'll start with the second point. You know, if, again, because since you are putting it to the debate, if I become the devil's advocate, just walk into his camp and speak. Semester system, frankly speaking, if I behave like a mercenary, would be absolutely for those who want to shirk work, for those who don't want to deliver, who have been notorious for shirking. In every profession there is black sheep. So let us, I am not here to defend,
Right.
that if all of us are hunky-dory, that's not the case at all. But they are the people who are the biggest beneficiary in the semester system. You have to teach for less number of days, right? So you can just come and go in terms of, and then you can see your syllabus is completed and your paper comes. And the way the things are happening, just to prove that a semester system is a success in the university, marks are inflated, and you will be appalled the way marks are being doled in this. And that clearly discredits the value of the degree. As far as the first point is concerned, that this is being opposed by teachers who don't take classes. Recently, the university did a survey. It was some sort of a surprise visits to colleges and surveys. And they, after that, made 2 categories of teachers. One category of teachers whom they awarded based on students' feedback, anonymous students' feedback. And around 40 teachers who were selected for that year, out of which at least 20 of them are known for their opposition to this 4-year undergraduate program, right? So this whole talk about shirkers opposing FYUP, actually, it's indeed a very laughable argument and clearly smacks of a certain, attitude of discrediting any sort of constructive opposition, and it clearly comes from a mindset which refuses to accept any sort of argument which would dare to talk of any sort of deviant strategy. So that is the second part. Why students are opposing? If only, frankly speaking, teachers' opposition would have been a non-starter if the students had not come to the streets. In fact, even if there is some degree of, I would say, disharmony, you will find there are different diverse voices among the teachers, right? Among the students, there is absolutely unanimity. They are the biggest stakeholders. There had been independent surveys conducted last year when 91% of the first year students who are in FYUP, they said that the FYUP is an unmitigated disaster. And there is an absolutely unequivocal, so opposition to FYUP. Now the question is why students are so upset, right? If when teachers are the usual soft target, you can always blame them. Right, but why students are so upset? Right. Why students are constantly saying that we don't want to do this degree because it is useless?
Let's get some more voices. We have Ms. Sucheta De. She's the former president of the JNU Teachers Union, I believe. Students Union. Apologies. Thank you, Ms. De, for joining us at the conversation on India Post Live. What are your views about this entire standoff that has left a lot of students in sort of a limbo?
This limbo, I don't think this is a come out of students' protest, but this is a result of the last MHRDs and the present Vice Chancellor of DU's adamant attitude towards the directive sent by UGC as well as the opposition given by the student and teachers. As mentioned by the earlier speaker, there was a referendum conducted last year where more than 12,000 students came and voted, and more than 91% students said that we don't want FIUP. And the main reason that they don't want FIUP because they found out the foundational courses which are being taught for 2 years to be absolutely nonsense. After 12 years of school, when you come to college, you are there to learn something. You are there for higher education. But right now, and at the same time, we can also see that this 4 years undergraduate program is in contradiction to the national education policy, and there has to be an equivalence in terms of structures of course across the universities in the country, because at the end of the day the students of Delhi University will go in the same job market where students of other universities will come. And that is why we think that there has to be an intervention right now from the MHRD. The visitor of the university has to intervene, and we have also proposed from the part of the students as well as the teachers, we have proposed an alternative model whereby the second students can also be they can also have a 3-year honors degree if intervention takes place right now.
Right. And ma'am, do you feel now that this is turning more into a political controversy more than an academic one?
Look, I mean, we think the only politics behind bringing FYUP is to destroy public universities, public funded universities, good public funded universities, like the Delhi University. Because if there are good public funded universities, the universities like the foreign universities or the private universities won't work. Students will not go to the private universities if the public funded universities function well. So that is why we think there is a strong lobby within the political circle as well as those who are in the academics, like the Vice Chancellor of DU, Mr. Dinesh Singh. So we believe there is a larger politics behind it, and that is why the opposition against FIUP is not only to defend the academics of DU, but also to defend the quality of and accessibility to public funded higher education institutions.
Right, ma'am. Stay with us. We'll get in a very interesting view from a student. He's Avtansh Bahel joining us from Chandigarh, and he of course supports the 4-year undergraduate program. Avtansh, thank you so much for joining us at the conversation. Are you for, I believe, for the program?
Is he already a student or is he a
He's-
applicant?
I'm not able to hear you, Avtansh.
Is he an admission seeker?
Yes. I think we've lost his connection, but
Achha, I would like to respond to
Yes.
this uniformity, this 10
Yes.
plus 2 plus 3 system.
system.
The current 4-year program gives you an exit option. That is, after 3 years, you can get the graduation degree and go in the job market or wherever you wish to. But if you want to do masters from Delhi University, for example, then you do that 4-year program, that 4th year,
Yes.
and you complete your masters in 1 year.
1 year.
So there is an exit option. Which exit option I just want to submit? JNU started long time back in 70s. In their this language programs, they have got integrated master's program. That you can, after 3 years, you can get your graduation degree.
Right.
That they have for almost 35-40 years. So this new system also has an exit option, that after 3 years you can get the graduation degree.
Ms. Sucheta, please go ahead.
So
I
that
I
is
know you
not
have
in
a point.
conflict. That is not in conflict
Right,
with us,
right.
that
Let-
system 10 plus
let
2
Ms.
plus 3.
Sucheta-
Yes, I mean, he raised, I think, largely 3 points. Firstly, that there would be no problem in terms of equivalence across universities. Here is a program in FIUP. Earlier, in 3 years undergraduate programs, the amount of time or the number of courses in which the students were taught honors program in a particular course has been hugely reduced in 4 years undergraduate program. So here in 2 years, the students are forced to teach foundational courses, which and the content of the foundational courses cannot be included in higher education. And after 4 years, they are in Delhi University. They are being told that now your masters will be of 1 year. So here is a course structure where you are not given any kind of deep or serious training in the particular subject that you are planning to study. And at the same time, in other universities, in a 3 years honors program, the students are taught the particular subject for 3 years, and at the same time, master's degree is for 2 years. So I do not find any kind of equivalence if the 4 years undergraduate program continues in Delhi University. Secondly, in JNU, absolutely there is no exit point. In JNU, there is an integrated program, 3 years graduation plus 2 years master degree. And let me tell you that JNU gives you graduation degree honors in particular language after 3 years. And after that, if you want to do masters, you have to do 2 years masters. There is absolutely no similarity with the current 4 years undergraduate program that is being proposed and that is continuing in the university. And in JNU, rather, I would just like to add one point. In JNU, this course was disintegrated and the administration told that the students will not be allowed to continue to master's degree. They have to leave. After graduation, they have to come back again through an entrance exam. And the teachers and the students said that no, we want an integrated course because we believe that this exit point formula, right, that if you are not, if your economic background does not allow you to continue with costly education in Delhi, you don't have hostel, you come from Bihar or any other villages of the country, you cannot continue your education, you drop out and you are told that you just get out of the university, but you will given a diploma. Diploma in what subject would that be? None of those who are supporting FIOP can tell us diploma in what subject, and they will be specialist in one subject. Right. They will just be thrown out of the university with a particular degree, which will be called diploma, and the diploma would be of no help to them. But in JNU, the students have the 3 years honors program, and after that they continue in their MA. So that is what I have.
Right.
Just to respond to both Sucheta's point and also Dr. Singh's point. You know, first and foremost, university for 1 year has been successful in hoodwinking everybody that there is an exit option which provides that sort of a level playing field. That is not the case at all. It is worse than the erstwhile pass or the program course. In 3A honors, if you want to exercise that option of exiting, then you will getting a pass course where students used to get an honors course, which was of not only of higher value but a much more rigorous academic content. Right. Second important point. This whole idea of exit option is a mode of institutionalizing dropouts, so that after 2 years, after doing 12 substandard foundation courses and a bare introduction to any sort of disciplinary code, with academic content, the hoi polloi of the world would be thrown out of the university system. Then those who want to stay to get that so-called degree after 3 years, that you will do, and only the creme de la creme who aspire to get into all these so-called global education market, they would like to continue. Even for them, I just want to inform you that some of the big proponents of the market, they have given a thumbs down to this course, despite this course being constantly tom-tommed as suitable to the needs of the market. Why? Because they have very clear Economic Times, Business Standard, all these, their editorials and in their major commentaries, they have said that this program is nothing but trash. I'm not you can just check their editorials, right?
But we also
So,
have educationists like Mohandas Pai who are saying
Actually,
and
you see,
advocating
I just
that
want
the
to say one
four-year
thing.
program
The-
is
the-
required.
four-year program
Prachi,
in
the
general.
university system has its own way of getting things done. The university system has an academic council. This academic council approved it, didn't it? Yes, no. The academic council is the body of academicians of the university with people from outside world. They are experts and they decide on that. Since you failed on that, through that proper academic domain knowledge people, you have come to the roads and getting the help of the students. It's like, you are asking a child whether it should learn ABC or not.
Right.
You'll have to make efforts to learn it.
First and foremost,
it's painful. There is no gain without pain.
First and foremost, the academic council is a body. Yes, that is the statutory body which has to take the decision. For a long time, never in the history of the university, the academic council has been treated with such utter disregard, the way the present administration has treated it. People are saying that we have passed it. Even in the last academic council meeting on 21st of June, after the UGC directive, they passed a resolution, 81 people supporting the four-year course and 10 people, which includes me, we dissented against that resolution which refuses to accept the directive. Why after that? Many of the members, which included principals, why did they not go ahead and do admissions today? Why did they not continue their defiance of UGC if they think academic council is
that is
supreme
because there
body?
is a confusion.
No,
Listen.
There is a lack of clarity.
No principal is empowered to take
Okay.
admission without the vice chancellor said yes.
And Vice Chancellor has said yes for a four-year course.
No.
Vice
Right.
Chancellor has said
Listen,
for a four-year
UGC
course. Why
Okay,
did
we
they
are-
go
I'll
ahead
get
for a four-year course?
There is a legal point here.
Let's have a-
UGC
There is a legal
cannot
point even in the FY.
Let's get
I am
very
not- look,
interesting.
cannot intervene.
I will get both of you.
I am not an
University.
apologist of
Let's
UGC.
get-
Please go and ask the UGC
Right.
people why they have been sleeping all this while. But the protests have been around, they have been alive, and the students in particular, they have taken the initiative
So
and they
we
have
have
taken
somebody
the leadership.
from that protest. We have Professor Aditya Mishra, who is a member of the Academics for Action and Development. He's at that protest, a hunger strike by many of the teachers. Thank you, Professor Aditya Mishra, for joining us at the conversation on India Post Live. So your first thoughts about this entire controversy and the fact that students' careers are now at stake?
Yeah, the students' career are at stake because the UGC has written a series of wrong letters. They have written a letter to the university on 1st May 2013 saying everything is in order and the university can go ahead with the things. The letter is very clear, the letter is with me. And you can also get that letter on 1st May 2013. After subsequently, if they are changing their stand just after one year, what has prompted them, it is that the direction of the Ministry of HRD, they are doing all these things. So they are squarely responsible for destroying the autonomy of the university. This is not just a 4 years program. This is basically the process in which the 4 year has evolved through the academic council, through the executive council, and the mandated manner in which the university functions because of the Universities Act passed by the 1922. And believe me, you can also check even the Britishers had the greatest regard for the university's autonomy. Unfortunately, this is the business interest to cater this. They want that the students should be catered to the private universities. That is the reason why they are trying to do all this chaos, so that the students will get a despair and they will go to this. They will knock the doors of the private universities. So this is a clear-cut motive, and they also try to stop the appointments, 4,500 appointments. So this is a blatant attack on the university's autonomy.
Right,
Like
right.
oxygen, the human being survives. We survive. The university survives on its autonomy.
Right, Professor.
If there is no
Professor
autonomy in the
Mishra.
university system, there is nothing left in there.
Right. Professor Mishra, stay with us. We have here Dr. C.P. Singh, who would like to possibly add to that comment and ask you a question.
Listen, the other point that is being raised by the opponents to this program is that the visitor has not said yes to it. You see, as per the norms of the university, the visitor of the university is the Honorable President of the country. And the acts or the norms that are passed by the university through proper process, following the process that the academic council, then you have got the executive council, and finally it is sent to the visitor. And as per norms again, if the visitor doesn't say no, it means maunam sukriti lakshanam. That is, you have got the assent, the approval of the visitor as well. So there is a lie being propagated by the opponents to the program that the visitor has not given his assent. The time has passed and the assent is there ipso facto.
Right. Professor Mishra, your response to that?
Please stay on the line.
I believe we've lost him, yes.
No, 2 points he has been. First and foremost about the hunger strike, it's indeed unfortunate that the university has stooped to such low that they have actually created this front of teachers. I just have one thing to ask. Why in any of the programs, there are series of now television channels you have where this issue is being discussed. It's such a burning issue.
Yes.
Not a single university official is coming to defend this program. Why are they? It's not just the university professors, university officials. You have the vice chancellor, vice chancellor.
They did have the vice chancellor last evening on one of the news channels.
No, but in most cases, you are being said. Today, the people who are sitting on hunger strike, most of them are young ad hoc teachers whose jobs are at stake, and very clearly they are being put as a front. That is very unfortunate. As far as the university autonomy is concerned, I have told you earlier, autonomy cannot become an alibi. Autonomy is for the institution, and autonomy is not unregulated. It cannot become an alibi for the vice chancellor and the administration to run amok in the university.
Right.
It's what has happened in the university is unprecedented, right? The way these courses have been passed, everybody across the board, the entire, you ask any independent, neutral, academic, they will tell you that this 4-year undergraduate program in a university like Delhi, the way it has, nobody is opposing 4 years per se.
See, the same
everybody
thing
has
was
been
being done
opposing
in
the
70s
everybody has been opposing
I'm not
the
getting
manner.
time to say my
Everybody
viewpoint.
has
1
been,
minute, sir. Let him finish.
Everybody has been talking about the shoddy nature of the courses, the complete academic, dilution, and in fact, it has brought a bad name to the university. Nothing. That's a very
I'll respond
unfortunate
on two
situation.
things. The first,
Keep it very brief. We have
yes,
to get
fine,
Mr. Sucheta.
fine. You see, today most of the things in the realm of innovation are happening on border areas. That is, when more than 2 subjects are coming together, some of the new things are happening. That is not only in the natural sciences, but also in the social sciences and the disciplines and domains that pertain to human behavior. In the foundation program of the university, you will find that so many domains have been put together. And I'll give you one very interesting example. In one of the islands of Japan, they have a colony. In that colony, there are more than 5,000 experts, teachers, professors, and scientists who live together. But they belong to different disciplines. They belong to different disciplines for the simple system that when they go out to work, when they go out and talk about their kids, they also talk about their own subjects. And it is how new things come. And we are also taught a number of things at the grad level.
Right.
Why do we study the same thing at the master's? Why at the PhD level?
Okay, I'll
So
get
that is no argument that we will study and will become bogus after studying things.
I need to get Mr.
These are,
Sucheta.
you see, the syllabi are just indicators. The teachers will have to add value. Those who don't want to add value, they want to spend more time with political parties and offices rather than in the university campus. They are opposing
You've made
it.
your point. You've made your point, Mr.
You need to
Sucheta. One
customize
final.
syllabus according to the needs of the students, right? So you can't just give a set structure, one-dimensional man. Everybody has all size fit all thing. I think that is something which has been the biggest casualty of this program. And more importantly, interdisciplinarity is something when many of the proponents of FIUP could not spell that term. When in various disciplines of Delhi University, we had already introduced it. Right. It was the teachers who forced the university authorities to introduce academic reforms the last 20 years, and they were very reluctant to do it. Now, if this is the nature of reform which they would like to bulldoze, sorry, because this is something which does not augur well for the institution's repute and the academic caliber.
Right. I'll get in Ms. Sucheta, ma'am. Before we wind up and take this on our Twitter handle, please, your final comments on the entire standoff.
I would just like to comment on this business of interdisciplinarity. I believe that interdisciplinarity does not mean dilution of a discipline. Interdisciplinarity cannot mean how to teach momos and then to define it that it is social science. We have interdisciplinary courses in JNU. There are courses which are meant to be interdisciplinary, like Center for Science Policy and Zakir Hussain Studies, my own center, where you are taught geography, regional development, population studies, economics, statistics at the same time, and we people do good researches. It cannot mean dilution of academic content and then define it as interdisciplinarity. Secondly, on the business of autonomy, I would like to say that yes, universities have autonomy in terms of deciding their content, and they should have autonomy. But I do not think in this particular case, in the context of Delhi University, the vice chancellor is using his autonomy. The vice chancellor is using his unilateral powers. He is using his absolute power to clamp down on voices of the students as well as the teachers. It cannot be said that the teachers who are contributing to the academics of the university were courses, who are supervising students, they have not been consulted while these nonsense foundational courses were being introduced in the university. All the students have given their dissent against FIUP. Now, a very few number of teachers or maybe officials, they have decided what can be the content of these courses somewhere else, but the university community does not know about it.
Right.
Secondly, I believe that the autonomy cannot be defined as autonomy when the vice chancellor himself is autonomous from the rest of the academic community as well as from higher authorities like the UGC or the MHRD. And thirdly, in terms of structures of course content, where there has to be an equivalence all over the country, any vice chancellor, any individual vice chancellor cannot use their unilateral wishes, because the students of Delhi University tomorrow have to go to the same job market where another student from another university has learned a particular course and they have done a rigorous and serious course of any particular subject for 3 years. So that is why the structure cannot be meddled with, because it is a national education policy. There has to be a national equivalence, and only the students of Delhi University cannot suffer because of the whims and fancies of the vice.
Right. Ma'am, before you go, one final message for the students now. The first cutoff list has been put off. Now, what happens to what kind of assurance can you give? Will there be any kind of consensus?
I think that there has been consensus among the students and the teachers. There has been proposal for the second year batches that their course can also be converted to 3 years honors program even now if the government acts. And definitely after the intervention by UGC, we have hopes, and we from our organization, All India Student Association, we are building up pressure. We have been there in front of the MHRD tomorrow. Right now there is a vigil going on, and we believe that we will be victorious and we will be able to the vice chancellor will have to abide the UGC directive, and I think the students have been a major part of saving DU from this hilarious content called the FIU.
Right. On that note, one final word from you very briefly, sir. We have run out of time.
Platitudes cannot lead to academic content. It has to be done through rigor, through wider consultations and engagement with the key stakeholders. And the last point is, the university cannot be run like a private fiefdom. It's not a private limited company. The way it has been run by the last few years, only a few people, they will take the decisions and everybody else will become a rubber stamp. And the last point about students, I am a teacher, that is my first responsibility, and I am accountable only to my students because they only remember me. They will not remember any vice chancellor or anybody. Therefore, I can assure the students that we will do everything to make sure not only they are compensated for this loss, that there won't be any loss. That is a promise which a teacher can make to students.
Right. Great. One final message for students, sir.
If this program is scrapped, this will be unfortunate in the history of the country, both at the academic front and at the front of innovation. The Prime Minister says that the country will have speed, scale and skill. This 4-year program in all its conception encapsulates scale okay, as well as the speed.
Right. So
and hats up to it. And one more thing, if the university goes to a court of law, the UGC is bound to lose this battle.
Okay, great. So we'll have to see whether this will spiral out of control into a legal mess. But for now, there doesn't seem to be any consensus. We have divided opinions here in our studio, and I'm sure there are many more out there. Do put in your comments and feedback and take this conversation forward on our Twitter handle @IndiaPostLive and our website IndiaPostLive.com. Put in your question and queries to our panelists and they'll be there to answer it on our website. Goodbye. Thank you so much for watching.